All right, we are live with another A to Z. It's September 21st, 2025. It's Rodzilla with Oyanga Ali.
What's up, Rod?
Not much, bro. Not much, man. Just back at it. A lot of things going on. We got the memorial going on today. Interest rates came down. The economy. You know what's going on. What's on your radar today?
Man, just everything, man. Well, actually, really, my focus today is just chilling with my daughter. We're gonna go watch this anime movie with her. Together. So
What's it called?
I don't
Oh,
something demons. I don't remember what it's called.
All right. This should be good though. Time with your daughter, family.
Yeah, something
Always
demon
time
hunters.
with it.
Yeah,
Oh,
something
okay.
demon hunters. Yeah, and at work, man. I don't want to get into the work drama, but people leaving the job. They're not hiring enough here in Vegas because they're saying that we don't have enough people coming, but we pretty much here cutting off a lot of the things that the Vegas was actually meant for. You know
What do
what
you
I
mean cutting
mean?
out things Vegas was meant for? The entertainment capital of the world, Sin City? What do you mean?
Well, okay. So when Vegas was first established, it was like mainly for the uh, a respite and a fun place for the middle class. So people in the middle class can come and feel like kings and queens here. You can come here and you can have have a $10 buffet, $12 buffet, get full, still go to the casino and uh, spend your money. But then when you're at the casino, you can sit there and play the penny slots all day, but still get drunk with some watered down liquor.
Yeah.
But then once those people down there at what's that place, Wall Street, then got their hands on the Las Vegas Dream, they start nickel and diming everybody. So now it's not really fun to come here. You know what I mean? First they started the uh, what's that called? Amenities, not amenities, but where you come and you have to pay all that extra for stuff here.
Like resort fees and all that kind of stuff, or
Resort fees. You
okay.
start doing the resort fees, and then we didn't really like it too much when they start doing the resort fees. Then they said, "Oh, you know what? That's making it. So let's go ahead and do the parking. Now you got to pay for parking." Then they're like, "Oh, let's hike all the food up, make the food cost more money." It's like they're trying to cater to a group of people who are fickle in coming here. You know what I
Mm.
mean? It's like you're not catering to the middle class anymore. You're catering to upper class that's not really providing the things that we need here as far
So,
as this being our industry.
so you're saying like the volume of people has dwindled quite a bit because of the unaffordability?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's wild, man. I mean, it
So
definitely was. It definitely,
yeah,
got some five-star restaurants there, and they
yeah.
are not shy about the price.
No, they're not. No, they're not. And but by them doing that is like the price people don't want to pay for the workers here. It's
Mm.
like, okay, we're like our volume of people haven't changed at our place, right? But pre-COVID, they was like 12 people per shift,
Yep.
right? Right, 12 people per shift. After COVID, they dropped it to 8. Then when I started working there, they're at 7 people per shift. We at 4. We
Yeah. Four
struggling.
now
Yeah, we're at 4 people per shift,
with the
and
same
it's
volume of people coming in.
same volume of people,
Mm.
same volume of people. And when one person call off, you got to pull from another shift.
So now
You
that's
got
just
two,
behind.
right? You got 2 people call off. You're pretty much screwed. You got to work with what you got. And it's like, oh, and then still demand perfection at the same time. Like that's not gonna happen. You're gonna lose customer service because we're being ran ragged. you know,
Yeah, no
and
doubt.
we're
No doubt.
we're hospitality. Hospitality is 100% customer service.
Man,
You know,
that's an interesting trend, because I see that same kind of trend happening across a lot of industries where less employees are being able to be brought on, but the demand is the same. Yeah, I mean, that's happening certainly in the school districts. I mean, they're putting more and more on the teachers' plates here. Barely giving them any raises, implementing new curriculums without training, but still expecting the kids to make the tests and the teachers to still teach at that level. So so they got to get a solution in, but we kind of know what the solution will be over time. You know what I mean? More automation, because the people can't keep up physically.
Or man. Even mentally, or people who even wanting to keep up with it. It's like, why are you going to keep stressing us out? But then they're making it harder in other areas. You know, it's like, well, now we have no choice but to stay in this, so that we can go ahead and continue to pay for our rents or mortgage or car payments or whatever. Because there's a lot of people now that I see that are riding buses. Like, didn't you just have a car?
You mean they've gotten rid of their car and traded for a bus now?
I don't know if they got. Yeah, I don't know if they intentionally got rid of the car.
Okay, just driving less.
Yeah, driving less, or they just don't have. They couldn't make the payments because now they got to work 2 jobs. I mean, there's like, for a while, a lot of people had to work 2 jobs anyway, but now having to work 2 jobs in this
a necessity.
Climate, and it's kind of rough for a lot of people, man.
That's right, man. I mean, I was at my wife's school a couple of weeks ago, and just trying to, I can't remember exactly what we were trying to get teachers recruited for, but none of them would be available because they all had to go to their second job after they got done working at the school. We had five different people. Can you come help us out on this? Nah, can't do it. I got to go to my other job. And that's definitely increasing across the board everywhere as prices go up. I mean, just in here in my little town here in Oregon, they implemented pay for parking now. So now you have to pay to park downtown. It's not a huge fee, but it starts to add up if you're someone who visits downtown. And then they're raising registration on vehicles next year. That's another tax. Taxes aren't going down. Oregon is one. I think I go to the Salem Chamber of Commerce meetings, weekly, and every week they're talking about how Oregon is the 48th unfriendliest state to do business in because of the taxes, and and that's just continuing. More and more taxes across the board.
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Did y'all fall into the same category that Chicago fell into, and a couple other Democratic cities, where, because you just said that your parking went up, right?
Yeah, they just implemented it. It was free parking downtown just till a few months ago.
Was that an air business agreement? Like the air people come give you a lot of money, give your city a lot of money, and then they just said, well, we'll deal with the parking, because they did that they did that in Chicago. And
you said Arab people?
Yeah, they did that.
I don't know anything about that.
And they was like, here, we're going to go ahead and, like, they made some kind of deal that we give you some $100 million or whatever, and we'll go ahead and we'll deal with your parking situation. But they only gave them that amount of money for that 1 year, but they got the parking for 30 years, I believe.
Wow.
So and because they boosted it up from $0 to $5 for parking, and everybody needs to park, they already cleared what they gave them in a year.
Okay. Wow.
And the rest of that money is not going back to the city, is going to them. They're pulling all that money away from that city. Wow. So I was wondering if that's what y'all guys did. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I do see what you mean. I haven't heard Welcome star comment. Is that affecting your locals? Yeah, definitely affecting the locals. Appreciate you commenting. It is affecting the locals because, being the 48th unfriendliest business state already, combined with having people charge more for registration, that's going to just really affect the small businesses because people are going to have less and less disposable income. And you got all the confounding factors of, groceries being is more expensive, registration being more expensive for vehicles. And these are all hidden taxes that are affecting the citizens. And every time you do one, it just erodes people's disposable income. So they are being affected. The business owners here are, trying to pull it together to work together so that we could all make a profit, because without the small businesses, we know that the small businesses employ the majority of people in America, but they're being pushed out of business with all of these extra taxes. And now just the major corporations are going to be the ones left standing if this trend continues. So it definitely has a larger effect over time as these new fees keep coming on.
Yeah,
they even add in taxes on, because Oregon's a big recreational state, so they even add in taxes on boating and things like that. More taxes on your recreation, so yeah, it's definitely a crazy trend, man, that's going on.
Yeah, and at least hopefully the money is staying inside your city, because that right there will dilapidate your city if none of these big bucks is coming back and you're spending more money on parking and less on stuff like the farmers market and whatever, because you don't have that as much money to spend. And that's the same thing that's going here. People don't want to come down here because you're trying to save money on a weekend, and every night is like $80 a night for the hotel, but then you got $20 a night for your car to stay.
Yeah, I mean, it all adds up, bro. It all adds up. Star comment, thanks for joining. If you got where you messaging from, where's your city, how are things going there, taxation and everything?
I think I know Star.
You know Star comment?
Yeah, I know Star. She's from here, if I am correct.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining, man. I had listened to this guy some years ago called Crypto Teacher. He was talking about how, the electric vehicles are coming, more automation is coming, more solar getting off fossil fuels, and that they would ultimately create the scenario where people would get off of these things, like stop driving as much, stop flying as much, due to just making the cost so unaffordable that you just have to change the nature in which you operate. If it keeps getting more and more expensive to operate a car, you're just going to drive it less for the people who can't afford it, right? So, and I remember when this trend started, when people were talking about EVs really taking off 3, 4, 5 years ago. A lot of people would tell me, there's no way I'm going to an EV vehicle, there's no way I'm gonna do this. But the scenarios are being put in place to force people to change their habits, and we can see it kind of slowly rolling out with all these taxes, man. Taxing people out of home. Go ahead.
You think it's just the taxes that is doing that, or is it just like not just the sure consumption, like the product availability that's coming out? It's like, okay, they're moving more off of regular cars and making more like the EV cars more accessible
and more attractive, more incentives.
Yeah, more incentives. And then just everything, like our whole way of life is shifting, or even our view is shifting, and is being shifted in front of us. Like, just for this guy that got shot the other day, it stopped us from looking at everybody as friends, or as as people who we can just get along with. It's slowing conversation down in the workplace. It's like, damn, can I have this? This isn't a political conversation, but if I ask, how do you feel about this question? If we start talking about this, we may clash. So I should just shut up. You know what I mean? Let's just
For sure.
let's go ahead and talk about the NFL. Let's talk about some, sports or something, because let's not talk about the topic of the day. Because
For
I
sure,
don't, I
man.
don't, yeah,
It's so
it's
wild,
getting
right?
a conversation.
Because in order for us to come together on these topics that are so big and that can shift the way we all think and perceive each other, we should be talking about them. But it's been presented to us in a way that you feel so uncomfortable talking about it for fear of getting into a clash with someone else.
Yeah,
And that's when they win, right? That's when they really win. If we continue to remain silent, we lose as people if we don't talk about it. But that's the way it's being presented, especially as the cancel culture really rolled out a couple of years ago, and it's continuing now with Jimmy Kimmel losing his show. This cancel culture is dangerous.
Oh yeah,
it's so dangerous, man. And but we need to be talking about the issues. And the unfortunate part is there's very few people who can talk about the issues amongst their peers without getting heated. And that's an unfortunate thing.
And this one right here is Star said, I also think that it takes people from looking at the bigger picture. And one thing that we spoke about, you spoke about just via texting earlier, was that it was about the Israel thing. The bigger picture is the different rights that are being taken away from even speaking about anything negative on Israel.
Yeah,
that's a bigger picture issue, but we can't even talk about it because we're so nervous about, hey, like you said, the cancel culture. Am I going to get in trouble at work for my viewpoint on this? How's the temperature here at work? Is everybody here a Republican? Is everybody here a Democrat? How do people feel about this issue? Are people racist and hiding it, or are they? What are they? So there is a little bit of tension inside the workplace, not just because of the Republican, but because of all kinds of other stuff, and it's building up now even more. When we should be talking about, why is America giving all this money to Israel? How come Israel can come over here and tell us we can't talk about them? Or we want to get canceled. How is that another country can come into our country and fire people?
Is it's because just like most things in America, bro, it's always an illusion of the truth. Like even choice. Sometimes we feel like you could do anything you want, but that's just not the reality. It's an illusion that you can do that. And there was a website I came across a couple years ago. I think it was called ifamericanknew.com, and it's basically talking about all the different things that Israel has done to Palestine, how they forced them out of that land, how they've taken over, the amount of deaths that have gone on over the past few decades. And it really shows how this relationship between America and Israel is so deep, and it's just been masked as well over the past few years, a few decades. It's been masked as like, we're just kind of helping them out. But now we can see that it's a control mechanism. So we have in Europe, in London, we have the banking. America is a military force, and the Vatican is the religious spiritual and religious control. And Israel is kind of at the top of all of that. And I think I mentioned to you, the best way to cripple a person or take over a nation or indigenous people, they've done this to indigenous people too, is first take the spiritual system away. Because when you take the spiritual system, you take the mind. And being that America is a Judeo-Christian country, Catholicism rose up in that too, because they're all Abrahamic religions and they stem from the same spiritual system. And that is what binds these countries together. And that goes beyond what you see in the media and all that. And they're bound energetically and spiritually. And that's just what it is. We're just kind of seeing it being portrayed now on, where everyone can kind of see it. But most
You
people ain't
know,
even going to see it for what it really is, even then, with it being out there.
and I was thinking, how come people don't even think about some things that are obvious about,
Yep.
like when did Great Britain ever not be Great Britain? How did it get hidden that Great Britain never fell?
Break it down for us. I know you got the
Well,
scoop on it.
I'm not going to break it down too
Okay,
deep,
all right.
but I'm just that idea. When did Great Britain ever fall?
Yeah.
You already know what I feel about the War of 1812 and all that other stuff.
Sure.
So it's like all the people who have the ability to control our nation, and we don't see it. We don't see that we're actually the slave nation. You can call it. You can call it
Yeah.
Remember, when we was younger, they called it the police. We're the police of the world. They kept saying that.
Wasn't there something like in the Marine Corps or something about Marine Corps was the world's police? I can't remember exactly how it went, but yeah, I get what you're saying for sure.
Yeah, I heard that even before
Okay.
I went to the Marine Corps, back when I was in like middle school. We're the police of the world. We always going places to protect everybody, So if we're doing that and all of our money is coming, all of the money that we have is coming out of America to go to other countries to feed them and do all this other stuff. And during that time, we were providers, right? And sure. Donald Trump has taken that provision away, or trying to give it back. He's trying to get us to become more providers by producing our own goods now. But we're not providing the main thing that we provided for people, and that's protection. You see what I mean? So we're actually losing that provider status because we're still not producing anything. So our realm of thinking should be, I really think, as far as for when we want to think about survival and maintaining, should be on that. What are we providing? What's going on now that all these other countries are pushing us away? We know what's going on with the crypto and all of that, but as fast as it's happening, and we're supposed to be, Donald Trump is America first, but right now it's like not America first, it's Israel first. And everybody knows that Israel's committing genocide. Even the UN said it recently. Yeah. The UN said it. And if we're supposed to be the protectors, how come we're not protecting those people? So it's obvious that we are controlled. And I don't think, this is the thing, I don't think that Israel is the big guy in the situation. Israel is a big guy. They're bigger than us. Obviously, that little bitty piece of land is bigger than us. But I think there's somebody that's even higher than them that's also telling us.
What do you think?
Well, we was already owned by Britain. We never stopped. This is probably something that Britain owes Israel, and they're getting over, because I don't know what's going on enough in Britain to say that the British people have been conquered by Israel. And if they have, maybe that's why Hitler was trying to kill them, because he knew something.
Well, one thing I know about that World War I and Hitler's rise is, if you look at what was really going on in that country, Germany was bankrupted by the bankers prior to World War II happening.
Right, and the bankers were Jews.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reality. And the reality is that America, who's now controlled by bankers, are being controlled by the same people. And it's also being bankrupted. So we see history being repeated, that the bankers are the ones who control the money, control the country, and also influence how things are going to happen, because they fund both sides of the war.
And that's what we see happening. Goofy. That is so goofy, because the goofy part is they're being funded and being controlled by an imaginary thing.
You mean imaginary money?
Fiat currency, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that is the reality. It is fiat currency, and that's what makes the world go round.
which is weird because we don't need it. You see what I mean? Like
Yeah,
when
it, I do
like
get what you're saying. Yeah, sure.
because even when like you can see the control and the corruption when not of a country but of the world when they say Muammar Gaddafi was like, yeah, we're gonna do even before Muammar or during the same time of Muammar, you got Saddam Hussein. All of those people saying we're gonna back our money, our currency off of the ground, off of the
Hmm.
earth,
Yeah.
gold, oil, minerals, herbs, and then they kill them because it was
Hmm.
something that's real, something that's tangible, something that they can provide. And now we got this African dude in Burkina Faso. I don't know how to say his name.
Burkina Faso.
Yeah, that's the city, right? Or that's not the dude's
I
name.
think it's a
That's
city. I think that's a
yeah,
country or city. Yeah.
the country. Yeah, in Burkina Faso, their president, forgot his name, but he is trying to do the same thing that Muammar Gaddafi on. So, and we already know, which is weird. Do you see the tactic? What Donald Trump did, though? Donald Trump put a black Marine general over to oversee that country.
Clever.
Like so that they think. I mean, I don't know, man. There's all kinds of subliminal messaging in there,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
and he's going to eventually try to kill that dude, you know, because the president over there is not stopping.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think we got it wrong too because they're not presidents.
what are they like royal families?
No, he's like starting to be. He's going to be the king. He's not just going to leave. They're not just going to say, okay, now it's somebody else's turn. That's going to be the democracy part in it that we're America or Britain or whoever's going to try and push over there. No, you have to change. You have to change
Yeah,
him out. And they're
for
like,
sure.
no, just like Muammar Gaddafi was basically the king over um, Libya, and Saddam Hussein was the king over Iraq. They have kings over there, not presidents.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same old tactics. You asked me a couple weeks ago, like why are black people still, fighting this whole, I guess, getting equality, equal rights, and having that fight. And it's because the same thing that's happening here on a nation level, when the media and everyone gives you the fight to fight, then you're gonna lose because they set the stage in which the fight is played out upon. And the point I'm making with that is like they tell us, we need to get democracy all around the world. But really what was happening is an installation of the same monetary system that's controlling America was being implemented in those countries under the disguise of democracy. We got to get these dictators out of there. And, it's just a very, very cool thing that's going on with how this is being played out. And it's playing with, I guess we need to reframe the way in which we look at the thing so that we can get some upper ground on it, because it's all been just about taking the resources, giving them back, and now we're going into a place where it's even more fake currency. The currency is going to get even more fake with crypto.
Right, right,
Now it's just really being. I mean, it was already created out of thin air anyway, but now it's just a whole nother level of where you can inflate it to an infinite amount of money now.
right. And the thing that I thought was funny about the cryptocurrency part, not so much them tokenizing it, making it something seems like something even better than fake, but is the fact to where you can mine it. You can use the computer energy to mine it and get more of it because it's inside of the system. What? It's like that to me. That's goofy. That's goofy. It's putting a lot more energy on cryptocurrency. Yes, yes. It's giving it some kind of physical because we're doing it and some kind of outside with energy to pull to make it viable or believable or whatever. But
yeah,
yeah,
for sure. Star says she. I don't know. Star. I assume Star is a lady. Well, Star says, it's all about the rich filling their pockets. It is that for sure, and it's also even a little bit further to ultimate control. Someone always how people always say we live in a simulation, right?
I hear people say that. Yes,
you hear people say that, and Jamie and I was having this conversation. I said, well, yeah, it's a simulation, but people get the impression that it's fake. But what we have to think about when you say that is, what are they simulating? They're simulating the real world and how things really work. So it's something that's similar to how the real world works, but it's not really the exact same thing. You said something earlier about land and resources. This guy wanted to back the money by land and resources, something tangible. So now we take this cryptocurrency, and if you look at the language, they're saying that we're going to mine for cryptocurrency. And we know that the real value on the real earth is found in the ground where you mine and get the resources. So they're simulating how the real world works and making it all virtual. And I mean, there's multiple layers in which we can look at that, of how this simulation is simulating how the real world works. But they have to do it this way because it connects with the psyche of how we really operate. And if they don't have some of the truth, you can't get it by the people. So it's got to have a little bit of the truth. And mining at its core is going into the earth and bringing out resources. So now let's get them to digitally mine and bring out more of this fake ass money. So so it's so wild, man. And even like we talk about a lot of times how we're all connected through the ether, how thoughts sometimes are physical or non-physical thoughts, and that's what really connects us, how we breathe, the air and all that, and information is transmitted through the air. We know this because radio signals, TV signals, it's all wireless. So now
hold on for a second.
Go for
ether, I thought that was in the spiritual realm, but you're talking about the actual air. This is what we're talking about, space, right?
Well, the ether,
not outer space, but just space
in here that we live in. Weather, like if you look at the word weather, if you take that W off, it's also ether. So the ether is the air, is what's around us. So now they're putting the internet, which is a copy of how information is really transferred naturally and wirelessly. So they're simulating everything and how it really works. It's just very interesting.
It's a play on words. I'm getting you even more. It's a play on words. We're living in a simulation, and a lot of people were thinking, well, I ain't gonna say a lot of people, I don't know what other people thinking. I know what I was thinking when they were saying we're living in a simulation. I'm thinking we're living like Sims, that old school game. Like we're actually digitized creatures living in this world and somebody's controlling us. No, that's not what they're saying. There's the people, whoever's in control or whoever's trying to be the next group in control, have put something down that's a digital world that they want us to come and live inside. That they're using the digital world to come over here. We're living in a simulation. We're living in something that's not real.
Yeah, it's similar to how it really works. It's similar to how the natural world works because they've reverse engineered it all, which is why the medical system was so deep on, figuring out the body and how it all works, and so that they could create these simulations and put. I mean, the ultimate goal is control. It's not just money. Money is part of it, but it's ultimately the ultimate form of full-fledged control. And if we can take your mind and psyche and put it into a digital consciousness or take it out, and then we have full control in a even more simulated world.
So the Matrix was the birthplace. The Matrix was the birthplace because in the movie, everybody eventually was inside of an egg, inside of the Matrix, their body was useless.
Yeah.
And then
the body becomes useless, and your consciousness is somewhere else.
So it was a reverse engineered movie to let it, because the Satan, all those people have to tell you the truth first.
Sure.
But because that came out first, we really didn't understand it. We thought it was fantastic. You know what I mean? We thought it was fantastic and was like, oh yeah, cool. This is a cool futuristic movie, but we didn't understand the whole breadth of it. And as we got closer and closer, cell phones, what's that, RV, all this other stuff is starting to make sense. But now we done got pulled away from the whole part of being in the Matrix to something else. What does Star say?
Mental connections is being controlled. Is interesting, a remodel of how they control people physically and mentally. Yeah, it's we were in the natural world, so now they're recreating the natural world and making a digital copy of it so that it could harness souls just like this real world does. Because and that's how they control us also. Like if you're telling everyone that you're a physical body, when we know that at the real core we're more than that, then you can control how they operate, because now you can look at the physical attributes of someone and see the difference. But if you don't let someone know where they really came from and how it all really works, it furthers your ability to control them. So, right. And what I mean by like how it all works, like how does a soul even get here? Where did the soul come from prior to even being here? Because we know that the soul is infinite and it's all just different spectrums of light. But if all you teach people is just the genetics, like, oh, well, you came from a black mom, so your ancestors must always be black from back 15,000 years ago, however long, then that's the control right there. But
right.
we are more than that. And I was looking at some flowers the other day, man, and just thinking, I think I told you this about the flowers, but
I don't know. I don't remember you talking about flowers, sir.
Like colors are arranged by vibrational frequency. So the faster at the rate and speed at which something vibrates is going to emanate a certain color or a certain sound or a certain vibration. So if we don't
with the chakras, got you.
No, just even like a flower, like color, sound, and light are all the same thing, just at different vibratory rates. This is what science tells us. It also tells us that energy equals energy and mass times the speed of light are the same thing. So you can't separate them. So it's just a matter of how fast it's vibrating that makes it appear that it's separate. So different colors are represented by different vibrational frequencies, and that's how we see them as different colors. But if we only start with just the color, but don't go back to how the color got that way, that's how they can keep us separated. So the point I'm saying is that these colors that we exhibit in these skins that look like they're maybe came from a different genetic code here actually emanate from the same light source, which a soul is also light. So and the rate in which it vibrates is what makes it look separate. So my point is that we're all really connected. We're just at different vibrational rates and frequencies that appear to be different and separate. But if you don't educate people in that way, they're going to only look at the physical attributes, like this flower is red, that flower is green. They must be really different. No, they're just at different vibrational rates and frequencies that make them appear differently.
Right. I was talking to this guy at work about Jonathan Swift's A Modest Proposal, right?
Yeah.
And you know the story, right?
No.
Okay, so this is I'm going to have to go through this really quick, but it's a good book if you want to read the history. And it's they pose it as a I forgot the word that they use, but it's like it's a story, but it's supposed to be not real, but it really happened. When you do the history and everything on and do a timeline, you can see that A Modest Proposal was real.
Okay.
And Jonathan Swift was a real person. He really was not just a writer. He was He was into politics and stuff like that anyway. So basically what he said was during this time, this European country was going through famine and stuff like that. So what they did was they said, okay, here have the poor people start, because the poor people were still having sex, but they were still hungry, but they were still having babies. He said, so let's start purchasing the babies. We'll purchase the babies, and then we'll cut up their meat and sell it back to them so that we can have their money. You know what I mean? And they'll be eating their meat and all this other stuff. And that'll save our country. So now I'm sitting here thinking about this. Why are a lot of people fighting to have abortions after birth?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why? The later and later and later they can have it. Oh, I can have an abortion, get rid of this child. The people, whoever that is pulling the baby out, they don't have to kill it in front of the people. They can hit it with a needle and be like, yeah, the baby's dead. Look, it's lifeless, right? But it can be still alive. They can go ahead and put it someplace, incubate it, let it grow, right? They could be eating it like Jonathan Swift talked about.
Yeah, that's rough.
You know, in his proposal. But then think about this too. People get maternity leave.
Okay.
She has the baby. She gets rid of it. There you go. Maternity leave, free pay for a couple months. Now, and the only reason why I'm thinking about this, because there has been that idea of some women having like my first baby's mom. She just kept having babies so she can get child support. You know what I mean? Now, what if this is the next level? Let me go ahead and have this baby. I can have some time extra off of work while I'm in the baby. Got more excuses. I have the baby, then I got 3 months of maternity leave pay, but no baby. You know?
Okay.
So and insurance pays for that too.
So you're saying the next level of like break it down for me, the point you're making about it. Like it's the next level in terms of what?
No, okay. Coming from the Jonathan Swift thing, how they said they was going to feed the people. When you seen those studies when they say all the meat that McDonald's use, just the beef that McDonald's, that one place uses.
Oh, I got you.
You know, we don't have enough cows to support that much beef. And that's just one place. Where are we getting all this extra beef from? you know what I mean? So It's like, I'm just saying, like, that's a different type of branch. What I'm talking about, but it's still from the same tree.
You mean like, is it possible that some of us across the globe have been turned into cannibals without knowing? Is that what you're kind of getting at?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a deep one, bro.
Exactly. Because hey, I don't know if you remember, this was back in mid to late 90s. The Japanese was trying to figure out how to make steakums, like beef out of a synthetic beef. But what they used was poop. They used poop. Yeah. Human poop to make steakums, little thin pieces of steak, but it was human poop. And they actually put that in production, but they didn't let everybody know what it was. It was scientists. So they said it was all natural. It is all natural.
It's all natural. You got to be careful, all natural, huh?
Yeah. So I'm just saying that, like, they did that, and then they don't have to tell you what it is. They can say, "Oh, it's just GMO."
Natural, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, to be quite honest. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, just like everything else is starting to come to light of what's going on, maybe that is what comes to light too. You guys, you know, maybe that's
Right.
another topic. And because they certainly have done a great job of cornering the market on everything that we need to survive, whether it be, you know, coal, mineral, gas, education, everything has been controlled for sure. I wouldn't be surprised, man. That's a wild one. But here's something I was thinking about a lot, man.
Yeah,
Even just
did you see what she said?
no, what she said.
Same thing.
That's crazy. It makes me think about slavery times when they have breeding grounds just to kill off slaves to eat their meat. Going way back, history is really repeating. Yeah, I mean, that's why I say I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. I mean, it's a crazy, harsh truth that we might have to face, but I wouldn't doubt if that's the case. And one thing I think about a lot is how much food do we even really need to eat to survive? Because in America we have our quote unquote healthy diet, but as a person who's been in the health and fitness industry for over 2 decades, I've seen so many different dietary trends come out: Zone, Atkins, this and that, Weight Watchers. And then you start looking at other cultures, how the Chinese eat, how the people in Africa eat, and they all eat different things, but you can find people thriving on almost any kind of diet, right?
Right.
So what do we even really need to ingest to be alive, or how much? Because we get told you got to eat 6 times a day or 5 meals a day. And we know that was largely predicated upon making the industry of food take off. Once they started after World War II, once they started canning and packaging foods and being able to produce foods on massive quantities, they needed someone to eat it. So a lot of the marketing and the food pyramid and all that stuff was put in place to get people to consume even more food.
Right.
So it's definitely part of a plan, this overconsumption. Go ahead.
Right. And it depended on how much money those food groups were putting into the pyramid that got more light, like the milk, cereal, okay, let's move that up. Let's up the pyramid, So there are, in that regard, there's a lot of different things that they have done. Like I even told you the one story when because I had kidney, like high creatinine levels in my kidneys. So they kept trying to put me on medications and stuff like that. And then one day I fasted. I fasted for like I think it was like 20 some days, but it was like one day
intermittent.
And it was intermittent, but I fasted a full fast for one day. I ate soup, and then I ate soup one time to break my fast, and then I fasted for 2 days, one soup, 3 days, one soup, 4 days, one soup, 5 days soup, and then 4, 3, 2, 1, just like that. But it was still like fasting, and it was just a herbal soup. It wasn't no noodles or anything like broth. And I went to the doctors, and they read my stuff and was like, "Oh my gosh, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Your creatinine, all your levels are so high right now, so high." And I was like, "Well, I was fasting." "Oh, wait a minute, hold on, don't do that.
Oh,
that's bad for you."
I'm glad you mentioned it, bro.
Yeah.
So glad you mentioned the fasting, because that was my next point going to be. I've been looking at these people who claim they don't eat at all.
Yeah.
And we know when you go on a fast, just like you said, your body starts to heal itself. But what happens when you overconsume? People get sick, they get diabetes, high cholesterol, etc. So there's definitely something to what do we even really need to survive as humans? And I'm guessing, based on everything that you've just said, that we don't need as much as we think. And in fact, I think we can survive off a hell of a lot less, and probably, I don't know, I'm not going to say, because I know that everyone is not going to adopt a fasting lifestyle or should
No,
stop
they're not.
eating anything like that. But the point I'm making is that I think we've been bamboozled into how much we need as far as protein, carbs, and fat, and all of that. That's just my personal opinion and based on what I've been studying lately.
Hey, let me give you an example. 2
Go
examples
ahead.
real quick. One example is do you remember when you looked at the people during the Holocaust? We know that
Yep.
they was being starved
Yep.
and worked as slaves.
Mhm.
So they're working and they're not eating. They're
Yes.
working and
And
they're
they're
not eating. And they're super bony. Now that's the extreme
Sure.
of that's an extreme, but they were still working. And it wasn't for like 5 or 6 days that they weren't eating. They were starved. They were not eating for like 10, 20, 30 days. You know what I mean? And
Sure.
still working so that the body can live. It doesn't look pleasant. It
No.
does not look pleasant, but it can survive, fucked up and in pain.
For sure.
So that's one example.
Mhm.
Another example is the way we think about our hunger.
Mhm.
When our stomach growls, we're like, oh my gosh, I
About-
must be hungry. No, your stomach is growling because it's actually cleaning itself. It's like it's at the point, okay, yeah, this is the point right here. That feeling that we get is another feeling that we don't understand. Oh, I really got to be hungry, dude. I feel emaciated, some shit like that.
Yeah. I'm starving.
But that's
Angry.
not the proper thought for it. It's because when you're fasting, you get those same feelings. When you actually go for a prolonged fast, 5-day fast, you get those feelings in like the 3rd and 4th day, or depending on your
Sure.
ability to fast. 3rd or 4th day, you're like, oh my God, oh shoot, I'm just tired or whatever. But that's your body still healing itself, is cleaning itself and everything. But then once you get past the depending on your abilities, once you get past the 4th or 5th day, or 3rd and 4th day, maybe sometime 5th day, you're not hungry and you have a lot of energy.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's like, what am I doing? You can think clearer. All
Yep.
these things, it's just the way we think about food. We're addicted to food.
Addicted to food, bro. Here's another I know you got to get off here pretty soon,
Yeah.
but when I was talking earlier about what are we really? We're souls, right? We're soul, we're spirit, we're light beings at different spectrums of light. So there's a scripture in the Bible that says that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of God. So what is God then? He's a spirit, or also a light being itself. And we know through like Eastern philosophies that prana, which is not just air, prana is what fuels the body. So you breathe in prana, and they say that it's God breathing in and out of us, that we're not doing. This is something that goes on unconscious because you breathe when you're asleep. So this breath, and if you go a few seconds out without this prana or this God or universal creator, you're going to die. So that is even more powerful than the food you eat that's keeping you alive. You get my point? So,
Right.
So we should be living by that also, but we don't really think about that is what's really keeping us alive. It's not always just this physical food. It's something beyond that because we're beyond that. You know what I mean? So it's definitely, I think, an addiction that we've been told that we need to eat that much. And I'm not advocating everyone stop eating or anything like that, but definitely something we should look at a little bit more closely because it's also used to control. Food is used to control the mind and our actions. It is a huge form of control. If you can get people thinking about the hunger. I know you gotta get out of here.
No. I was talking to my wife.
Okay, so food is also used to control, just like entertainment. Look at the commercials and stuff on TV and how it just pulls on your sensory system to crave it and want it. But maybe you don't even need it. Maybe you're not even hungry, like you just said. But how can you even get to that state of realization of what really fuels your body if you're constantly putting something into it that takes your mind off of what it is that's really keeping you going.
Hey, do you remember this was going on a lot when they would say, hey, we found this root, or we found this tree, or we found this vegetable, or this plant, or whatever it was, this foliage, and it's in Africa, it's in Central America, it's whatever, and it does this. And then all of a sudden, either that place is burned down, or some American corporation bought the whole land, and now you can't go get it. You know, it is a sense of control in that regard. They're like, oh, this is going to heal them. This is going to make them a little bit more healthier. This is going to allow them to know they don't have to eat that much. Because if you notice, there's this one stuff, I don't want to bring it out here and show you, but it's you know who Dave Cutler is, right? Or not, I don't know if his name is David Cutler. I forgot his name, but the muscle dude, Cutler.
Oh, Jay Cutler.
Jay Cutler,
bodybuilder. Yeah,
he got this stuff called carnitine.
L-carnitine.
Carnitine, right? If you taste it, it's super bitter. It's like real bitter. And you know what bitters do? Bitters crave you. I mean, it curbs your hunger, right? This stuff is supposed to make you thinner. Make it burn. It's supposed to burn your fat, right? That L-carnitine. It's supposed to burn your fat, but it's the bitters. So a lot of the foods, if we ate bitter food, which we do not eat bitter food, people don't like bitter food. It's been put in our heads. Bitter food is bad. It's nasty. It's not good for you, unless it's like bitter melon and it's mixed into the food. But if you just eat the bitter food, you don't really need that much food. Yep. You know, it helps. The bitterness helps get away your cravings and need for food. You know, and if you look at your tongue, remember, I don't know if you remember when we was younger, when they showed the palate of the tongue, that the tip is sweet, the sides are salty, but the biggest part of your tongue is bitter. And when we was growing up, it said bitter is that sense of bitter is poison. If you taste bitter, that's why it's so big. If you taste bitter, it means it's poison, and you don't want it, because they didn't want us to understand that the bitter part of the food is
more therapeutic, more healthy.
It's therapeutic. And I don't know, I'm from Ohio, and we used to have deers, and you can eat the same foods that the deer eat. Like when you see them nibbling off a tree, which I have done, and because they're like, this is how Indians found their food. I don't believe that's how Indians found their food, but it was still a good idea. Like, so you out there, you see a deer eating something, that means you can eat it. So when I eat it, when I've eaten it, guess what it was? Bitter. You know, and you can grab a stick of that and put it in your pocket or whatever. Grab a bunch of leaves of whatever it is they're eating, put it in your pocket, and walk and go for a hike. Pull that out. You're really not that hungry, but you still have enough energy and enough electricity in that food, in that leaf, to keep moving.
Keep going, yeah, no doubt, man. I mean, a large part of what they did too is moving people off of the land and getting them off the land, so that you wouldn't recognize the connection that you have with the plants and the fauna and all the things that grow and the animals, and then you have to rely on something more natural, like derived from a natural source, like they say, that is not natural, that takes you off of what you should be doing, which is living off the land.
Right. And that's why they did supermarkets too.
Yes, sir.
Supermarkets stop people from growing their own food.
Yeah.
That's kill the connection. Just what you said.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's definitely a crazy game that's being played on us. So the solution, of course, is to get back to nature as best we can. The real nature, you know, the real natural stuff. That's where the healing is. That's where the connection is. The connection to the land, and then that in turn connects us to ourselves. So 10:05, my guy.
Yeah, it's time for me.
All right, bro. Well, enjoy that movie, man, and we'll be back at it next week. Thanks for joining Star Comment. Hopefully, we get the word out, we get more people on. Appreciate you joining the conversation.
Yeah, appreciate you. You have a good night.
You too, bro.
Take care.
Brother. Be good.